what I got to say is this is not going to be easy. This is a battle. So you heard a little bit about my efforts to do this back in the 80s on television. I was young at the time. I was 23. I thought, let's have revolution on television like that was possible, you know. So I did a 10-part series for PBS. 10 half-hour shows on how to make alcohol, how to convert cars, how to, you know, build stills, how to do the whole thing. Wrote that book to go along with it. And I thought we were home free. We were on the air on KQED in San Francisco, scheduled to release the series to 140 stations nationwide. I was at the printer with a check in hand to print 10,000 copies of the book. We had 4,000 orders already from the first 4 segments of the show. I got a call, stop the presses. Well, what's going on? They wouldn't talk to me. So I come back from Oregon, I come back to KQED. After several meetings, it finally comes out that Chevron called up and said, what's wrong? You don't like our money? And basically said, we'll withdraw all of our funding for PBS if you don't cancel this series and cancel the book. Which that was a no-brainer. They just went ahead and did that. So, you know, even in the lawsuit that I followed in afterwards, they got to keep the series and not have to air it, because they spent $250,000 on their side of the lawsuit, and I only could raise $75,000. So I got the rights to the book back, and that's it. So they crushed me. I mean, I lost, you know. And they, to this day, in KQED's security vault, my series sits there, and when they go to the Tishman building every year to get their millions from Chevron, there's an oral agreement that says you will not release this series. And for that, we give you a little more money. So I should be happy that they've been extorting Chevron for all these years. But if we would have gotten that series out in 1983, there would have been no Iraq war in 91. There'd be no Iraq war today. There'd be no oil oligarchy running our goddamn government. You know, this would all be very different. So, you know, I'm going to read you a quote from Helen Caldecott. Kind of finish this up. The vision, this is about politicians. Their vision is limited to their meager 2 to 4 year terms of office. The desire for re-election influences all their decisions. I found sadly that a global view of reality and a sense of moral responsibility for humanity's future are very rare among political figures. But if we can't trust our representatives, who can we trust? The answer is simple: no one but ourselves. We must educate ourselves and then move powerfully as individuals, accepting full responsibility for preserving the planet for our descendants. She wrote that back in the 80s. Nothing has changed. You know, it's really always been up to us, you know, to take the action that needs to be taken. Governments are paralyzed at the prospect of oil running out, and they will do whatever the oil companies tell them to do if they think it'll be an easy out, a save, something that, you know, will keep things going the way they are with the least disruption. It's not an option anymore. Oil has peaked. It's going to get to be more and more ugly as time goes on. And it's not an option. We have to do something ourselves. And so that's what the goal of the book is at this point, to get it out there and to get people forming linkages between drivers and producers, the farmers, to take the oil equation completely out of the picture, and for us to deal directly with the people who produce solar energy and go ahead and really change what's going on. And it's really that simple. And there is tremendous effort to make sure you don't know about it. And what I'm trying to do is make sure you do know about it. And now, as they have said in Buddhism, once you have woken from your sleep, you can never go back to sleep quite so soundly. You now all know there is an answer, and it really just takes pushing to make it happen. As little as chipping in and buying a tank and getting alcohol delivered at this point and converting your cars. So this is you haven't heard much about it, but we're making big moves. And getting the public to understand what's going on is what our project's all about. So anyway, that's all I have to say for you tonight. I'd like your support. There's one last thing. One last thing. A lot of people ask me why I wear this hat. And that's because at the end of these talks, I can take it off and I can pass it around to help cover travel costs and stuff.